you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. So my name is Kowal, and I will be your dietitian today. So what brings you in today?
Well, I just wanted to talk to you about my meal plan that I've been following. It's been going pretty well so far. I've been eating lots of fruits and vegetables because I know those are really great for me. I've also been incorporating some healthy fats and some good protein sources like eggs and chicken and edamame, which I love. I love soybeans. But anyway, the whole point of this discussion I want to focus on is I've been kind of hungry. Like, I know I'm following this meal plan in order to kind of achieve some weight loss goals. I want to lose about 10 pounds within the next couple of months. I'm trying to get beach ready for spring break, and I just feel like I've been really hungry and kind of sluggish, and I've been exercising about 30 minutes a day every day of the week. But for some reason, I just feel like the meal plan that I've got is just not really working out for me as far as my energy levels, and I tend to be hungry during certain parts of the day. So that's kind of, I think, what I want to talk about.
Okay. So you said that you have incorporated a meal plan and you're eating very healthy. You're having lots of protein and fruits and vegetables, but you seem to have less energy. Is that right?
Yeah, I tend to feel kind of drained around lunchtime. I work in the mornings between 8 and 12, and then after I get off work, I've had breakfast, and I drink this supplement called Shakeology, which I really like. It's really tasty. It tastes like coffee, iced coffee, but it has lots of great nutrients like high quality protein. It even has some enzymes that help me digest lactose because I'm a little lactose intolerant, and so I don't really have a lot of milk and dairy in my diet, but it's helped a lot with that, and I'm still able to incorporate those foods. But by the time I reach lunchtime and it's time for me to eat a bigger meal, I'm starving, and so if I don't have something that will satisfy my hunger for long enough, I feel like in the mornings I very quickly get hungry, and I eat snacks between meals usually, but sometimes I feel like those snacks aren't enough.
Okay. So you're saying that before your lunch, by the time it's time for lunch, you're really, really hungry. So what do you eat for your AM snacks before lunchtime, before you get off of work? What do you typically eat for snacks?
Well, for the meal plan, usually I'll try to go for something like a piece of fruit or something really quick and easy that I don't have to take a lot of time preparing, especially since I feel like I'm hopping from work to school all the time. So it might be a piece of fruit, or I might have packed a protein bar in my bag if that's something that is going to help me kind of keep going through the day until lunchtime comes. And then other times I might have some nuts like almonds or walnuts. So I think I like eating those foods. I just wonder if it's enough, you know?
Well, thank you for providing me with your 24-hour recall. It's very nice. It's very nice and detailed, so it's great to look at that.
I tried.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about your breakfast? After you have your breakfast, so you said that you had your Shakeology and then you have oranges. How do you feel after you eat breakfast? Are you full? How do you feel?
I usually feel pretty satisfied. I'd say full for maybe about 2 hours. So let's say yesterday I had my Shakeology and those oranges at about 7:30 on the way to getting in the car and getting ready to go to work. I usually was able to, yesterday I was able to keep my energy up, and I felt pretty good until about 9:30, 10 o'clock. And that's usually when our shifts change. And so if there's not somebody there to kind of take over for me to help out with the kids that I work with at a nonprofit with a child life program, then I'm in the rooms with the children, and I don't get to eat that snack that I have until later. So I'm literally like dying for somebody to come and relieve me so I can leave the room and go to my desk and eat my snack. So usually around 9:30, 10 o'clock is when that hunger will hit me, and if I don't get to satisfy it right away with the snack that I have. Yesterday I had a little bit more of a bigger snack because I knew that I would probably need something a little bit more sustainable to help keep me through the day. But still, I didn't really get to eat it until closer to lunchtime because of the fact that I wasn't able to kind of get away from the kiddos and go and eat my snack. So that's usually around 10 o'clock when I feel that.
Okay. So you said that you typically feel good after breakfast. You're full, but your weak point is usually around 9:30 or 10 is when if you don't miss your snack, then you get really, really hungry. So what do you think you can do to prevent that from happening? What do you think you could possibly do to fulfill your hunger right on time?
Well, the first thing that pops into mind is kind of talking to my supervisor about wanting to have time to eat my snack, but I also don't want to be really whiny and make it inconvenient for anybody else just because I want to eat something. I don't have any, conditions or anything that require me to eat. I'm just pretty hungry because I guess maybe my breakfast wasn't big enough to kind of keep me through the morning until I get to my snack. So I would like to mention, hey, it'd be great if somebody could, be there at 10, which usually the next shift worker comes in at 10. But if they're not aware of the fact that I'm trying to take a break, I guess it could be easily, overlooked. But yeah, I guess kind of communicating that in a way that doesn't make me sound like I'm a bother.
That sounds like a good idea. What other possible ways do you think you could battle with this? What do you think? Are you open to maybe changing your breakfast items? Is that something you would want to do?
Well, I don't know if I necessarily want to change them, but maybe I could add something to them. The only issue I have with adding to it is I feel like I carry so much food around all the time anyway, and I need something fast. I don't have time to sit down to the table and eat a big breakfast because I'm already kind of running late in the mornings. And I try to get up earlier, but I feel like I don't really make enough time to get up and get my meals ready to have something larger and sit down. So I guess it would be helpful to have something else to eat for breakfast with what I have, because I always have my Shakeology. I have to have that in the morning every day, 7 days a week. But I do think that maybe if I had something that would be more filling with the fruit that I have with my Shakeology, that might help.
Okay. Well, what are items that you could possibly add on to your breakfast?
I guess maybe something that I'm already eating throughout the day. One great thing I like about my meal plan is it's flexible in that it doesn't really matter when I have it, I guess, as long as I kind of make sure I meet my goals for the different food groups. So I guess, for example, if I know I'm going to be eating almonds later in the day, if I kind of want to make sure that, I have enough energy to keep me from getting hungry before lunch, maybe I should have those almonds with my breakfast later or earlier in the day. So I guess a healthy fat might help. I've heard they're pretty filling and that they help with satiety, I guess. But I don't really know what else other than almonds. I really don't want to be crunching on nuts all the time. Plus, I think we might have kids that are allergic, and so I don't really want to bring that into the workplace and worry about giving anyone a reaction to it. So what do you think? Do you have any ideas for other options?
Well, I see your point of view that if somebody's allergic, you don't want to bring that into that with kids, because if somebody eats it, then it might be your liability. So I understand that. How open are you to maybe changing some of the things from your lunch to your breakfast? Maybe if you wanted to move your eggs or one of your eggs to breakfast and then the other one keep it for lunch. Eggs tend to have healthy fats as well that could keep you full for longer, and they have healthy proteins. Would you be wanting to maybe take one in breakfast instead? Is that something you'd like?
I guess so. I guess that would be a different way of looking at it. I keep forgetting that, I try to have something else to eat later on in the day too, and I guess I don't want to eat up everything early in the day and not have anything left later on. But if it did help to just have one of those snacks or one of those things that I already have planned out for the day earlier in the day, maybe that'll help with my hunger. I just really don't like feeling hungry because it also causes me to have cravings. And I don't really want to talk a lot about that today, but I tend to really crave sugar if I'm hungry. And so if there's like donuts in the office or cupcakes around, those are the sorts of things that are my weakness. So I've been doing pretty good. I've been avoiding that, but
Awesome.
in general, I really just want to make sure that I'm not getting hungry so that I don't have to worry about those habits. I am trying to lose weight after all.
That makes sense. So your only concern is being able to consume food to maintain your energy levels. At the same time, you still want to lose weight.
Mm-hmm.
What other ideas do you have of possibly maintaining your energy levels throughout the day?
Well, I guess I feel like I'm eating enough. When I do finally get to eat, I think I'm fine, but I just don't know if it's enough at that one sitting, if that makes sense. So I feel like my meals are maybe a little too small, but I don't want to overshoot my calorie goals because I don't want to risk not reaching my goal of 10 pounds in the next 2 months. So it's hard for me to decide what I should do because while I want to make sure I'm eating enough, I don't want to eat too much. I really don't know.
Well, have you ever thought about incorporating maybe some kind of carbs in here? I realize that you don't have any carbs in there, and carbs definitely are your basic source of energy throughout the day. How willing would you be to add some carbohydrates throughout the day?
I guess it depends upon what those carbohydrates are. I guess I don't want them to be too high in energy. I know a lot of carbohydrates like simple sugars and things like that might cause my blood sugar to shoot up and really spike my cravings. I've experienced that before. I don't want that to happen, but maybe something with a little bit more fiber in it. I've heard fiber is a really healthy source of carbohydrates, but I guess I don't really know what other types of foods other than what I already have been eating are good sources of carbs. What would you recommend?
Well, if you have heard that fiber is a good source, well, fiber tends to be in whole wheat foods. So you could have whole wheat bread, maybe a slice of it in breakfast or lunch or any time that you want. Or you could have whole wheat pasta or a whole wheat tortilla. Whole wheat sources of grains or carbs are really good sources. And carbohydrates are definitely your basic source of energy, but with fiber, they're not going to be bad carbs for you. So would you be interested in incorporating that at any time during the day?
I guess so. I like toast with peanut butter. Maybe I could have that with my fruit and my Shakeology in the morning. And I guess that doesn't take a very long time to make either. Yeah, maybe I'd be willing to give that a try and maybe not a whole lot of bread because I just don't really want to eat all bread. I feel like I get kind of bloated from all that extra bread and fiber, but maybe I guess one slice to start and then seeing how I feel and whether or not that helps keep my energy up after my breakfast meals.
Okay, so how motivated do you feel on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest and then 10 being very sure, very confident about making the change, about maybe incorporating some kinds of carbohydrates in your breakfast?
I'd say I'd give it an 8 because it seems pretty easy. We have whole wheat bread all the time around the house. I just typically don't pick it up because I just feel like I don't want a lot of it. But I guess if I just, popped it in the toaster or if I asked my dad or my sister, who's usually up earlier than I am, if they could pop it in the toaster for me, maybe that would make it easier for me to grab and go and just have some peanut butter slapped on it. So maybe, I think, an 8 sounds pretty good.
Okay, that sounds pretty good to me too. So what do you want to discuss in our next section? In our next session, when we meet again, we'll follow up and what would you like to talk about in our next session?
Well, I guess we can talk a little bit more about kind of ways that I can keep my cravings down to a minimum. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like when I'm on my meal plan, I'm doing pretty good for maybe like 2 or 3 days, but then when I experience that hunger and when I kind of see something around the house or around the office that is one of my favorite foods that I really like but I really don't want to eat,
Mm-hmm.
I'm tempted. And so I guess ways to kind of like incorporate more foods that I enjoy that are naturally sweet. I know I have fruit a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but I guess something else that's pretty sweet too that isn't just fruit, you know?
Yeah, that sounds like a good plan. So, wrapping up what we did in our session today, we talked about your meal planning and that you have low energy and that we'd want to incorporate foods and spread them out in a way throughout the day that you can have more energy throughout the day and not feel like you're too hungry. Does that sound about right?
That sounds exactly right. Yeah, I'm looking forward to trying out, switching up some of my meals and incorporating more of my food into breakfast because as great as I, you know, feel about my breakfast, I just feel like it doesn't help me through the mornings when I'm running behind kids all the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this goes, I guess. And can we talk about my progress? How should I keep track of this? Should I continue to use a 24-hour recall?
Yeah.
Or
Definitely. Keeping a 24-hour recall will definitely help us look over what you did right on certain days if you have higher energy and you were happy throughout the day. And then if you have lower sources of energy, like you feel like you're down, then we'll be able to monitor what we did differently on either of the days. And then we can go from there in our next session to judge better how many changes we need to make. At the same time, meet your goal of losing your weight. How does that sound?
it sounds good. I'm really excited to get this going.
Yes, awesome. I'm happy you came in to ask for my guidance, and I hope that we will be successful in our mission.
Awesome. Thanks, Kowal.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too. Bye.
Bye.